Welcome back to the show. We got a great one lined up. Ripple, XRP, all eyes on Japan. The reset is here. XRP, Mastercard, you won't believe what's happening now. And the big price comeback. Somebody roll that beautiful intro.
Digital Perspectives with Brad Kimes. Come on in.
Welcome back to the show. You can follow us on 1 second here. There we go. Now we got it right. You can follow us on X, YouTube, and digperspectives.com for exclusive content. Take a look at here. $4.06 trillion market cap for crypto. The market is up 4.3%. Who loves seeing it? I know you do because I do too. You know, I'm looking at this and I'm saying, okay, it's August 23rd. They come back from recess in Congress, Capitol Hill, at September 3rd, I believe is the day. So we're closing in and the money's starting to pull back into the space, I believe. And we got the news from Jerome Powell, which is signaling that they will be doing some kind of a rate cut. Now, I'm pretty positive it's not going to be exactly what President Trump wanted, but it is going to be a cut. We just have to see how much. But nonetheless, that is bringing money back into all the markets, and I think we're seeing that here. Bitcoin 115,000 plus, Ethereum 4,700 plus. The VCs are pumping. XRP $3.03. We're up 7.6 on the 24. We're still off 2.6 on the 7-day, and we've taken the number 3 spot back for the moment too. For long, the number 2 spot's going to belong to us. You watch, write that down. Ranging between 282 and 309. We are sitting strong like bull. Let's take a look at this real quick. Now, you guys have heard me talk about Gulf of America, XRP.com. This is a remarkable opportunity, and I'm going to tell you, it's catching fire. People are getting it. We're talking about the panhandle of Florida, Panama City Beach, Destin, Santa Rosa, that beautiful, beautiful panhandle. People don't know this, but it has some of the most gorgeous and beautiful, pristine beaches in the world. They have the clear blue, clear green water, just like you see if you go to the Bahamas, but you don't have to leave the continental United States. Yes, that's exactly right. And look at this property right here. By the way, you can get condos from the same realty mark. You can get condos for them in the 300K range. Beautiful. And if you want it to be a permanent residence, they can help you get it. You want it to be a timeshare, rent some of it out, offset your costs, they can make that happen, and it's headache free. I'm telling you, you need to sign up. Click this link below. I'm seeing so many gorgeous properties. And I'm going down very soon with my family, and I'm going to try to do a walkthrough of the property if I can catch an appointment, because I am hot on this area. The idea that I can go down and sit on some of the most beautiful, pristine beaches and get that Bahama clear, green, blue water and never leave the continental U.S., oh, sign me up. That's what I got to tell you. Not to mention 1.2 million here for this beautiful property. Are you kidding me right now? Listen, I'm just going to move through this very quickly here. You can see how gorgeous it is. Look at this countertop. These homes are absolutely beautifully appointed with the best finishing products. I can tell you this. I've gone through this. I was an appraiser years ago. I know exactly what I'm looking at here, and it's opportunity, ladies and gentlemen. It's opportunity to make beautiful memories with my family. It's opportunities for me to have a beautiful property that's going to continue to grow in price, and I love it. And look at this gorgeous view. This is where the house is here. Now, very quickly, I'll just show you a couple of these others. That's 1.2 million. This one here comes up to 3.5, bigger, a lot more square footage, a lot more comes with it. But look at this gorgeous setting on this golf course. It's absolutely stunning. Then they obviously have clubhouses, and then you could go swim up at the clubhouse, have all kinds of activities and stuff with your friends and family. You know, this is the kind of living I'm looking to switch gears into, and I know a lot of you are too. Here's another one for 2.4 million. Look how beautifully appointed this place is. It's gorgeous. This is in Regatta Bay is where this is right here. 6 bedrooms, 5 bathrooms, 2.4 million, sitting just a stone throw from the water in Destin, Florida region, right? I mean, this is gorgeous, gorgeous. This one happens to be exactly in Destin, Florida. But look at the view here. My goodness gracious. Sign me up is all I can tell you. And I know a lot of you are signing up too. One more. Look at this, how close you are to that gorgeous, gorgeous view of that sunset. Good gracious. Imagine taking a walk down there every evening and watching that while you chill in your beautiful, beautifully appointed home. Look at the finishes here. I'm telling you, this is a remarkable opportunity. Look at your private oasis in the backyard here. The screens, no bugs, right? Just a beautiful hang with the family. I'm telling you, I'm so excited. We're going down very soon. I'm going to be looking at some properties. So let's get started right here. Don't mess around. GulfOfAmericaXRP.com and get signed up on that list. Ask for Daniel. You can call or text him. He'll hit you right back. Super cool. And you can start your conversation about what you're looking for your family. Do the math. This is it right here. Look, we're talking about JP Morgan XRP ETF might attract 8 billion. They've talked about coming inflows for once the ETF spots are approved for XRP. Zach Rector, rightfully so, highlights the XRP multiplier effect and update. And when we had that price push yesterday off the floor up to $3 plus in a very, very short period of time, during the 30 minutes while Powell was speaking, we saw only 30.73 million of net inflows to XRP. This made XRP's market cap jump by 15 billion, which means that is a 488 times multiplier. Thank you and staying locked in. You're damn right, Zach. Shout out to you. When I'm looking at this, it's like people need to understand that the market cap myth, it's a bust. This is not the same thing as stocks. We're talking about an asset that has utility, and that's a game changer. And when we're talking about the multiplier effect, what we're talking about is something that has to be, it is a real-time effect, right? So when you're looking at that multiplier effect, it is based off of the buy and sell walls and how deep they are. How much money does it take to get us to 350? How much money in buy and sell walls do we got to push through to get to $4, right? So that's where the multiplier comes into effect. And yesterday, when this all went down, it ended up being a 88 time multiplier effect. So loving that, and I think we got more upside coming. Flashback, just over a year ago, Germany sold 54,000 Bitcoin at 57,900 plus. Today, it would have been 6.2 billion. I don't know how you look at that and say, well, you know what? You got a little bit of that smacked ass vibe going on. You know what I mean? Might want to hold on to the rest of it, right? So just saying. Especially when you know countries are about to adopt it, okay? So I'm just going to leave it right there. But Gemini announces... Oh my goodness. Now, let me just go one step further before we move on. Listen, here's when you know that they're really going to hold on to it and pay down the debt with Bitcoin. When they release a US digital asset bond issuance for it. Because it will be that bond collection of dollars and investment on that position that will be used to pay down the debt. It's not going to be we buy it, we hold it, we acquire it, we hold it, and then one day we're going to sell 5 trillion of it and pay down the debt. That would wipe out the market. You can't do that, right? But the way you could do it in a controlled fashion is to open a US digital asset bond issuance for Bitcoin, XRP, and other assets. And the money collection that you make on that bond issuance could be rolled as the terms roll over, whether it's a 4-week or 6-month, yearly, whatever they decide to do. And when those things roll over, you take that cash and pay down the debt with it. And that way you don't upset the actual physical market. Make sense? Gemini announces XRP Mastercard, future or present. XRP card from Gemini. Let's take a look at some of this. So, by the way, give this person a follow. Mind Games, Stalker55, Crypto Stalker55. Says, for years, Gemini refused to list our XRP. Absolutely true. They've been absolutely a non-supporter for a long time. Even though they were offered $1 million, they still said no. All that changed with Ripple's victory. And we know it wasn't a victory for Ripple. It was the first precedent a U.S. court gave legal clarity to XRP. Gemini U-turned, refusal, listing, release of products for XRP holders. That's how quickly that went. Now we're looking at cash back up to 4% for holders. Gemini's MasterCard can offer up to 4% cash back to XRP holders by integrating the token into everyday payments. How about that? Love seeing this. And there was a 20% push to the Solana network when Gemini did this for them. We'll see how that equates for XRP. Looking right here, Nate Garazzi shares the S1 amendments rolling in today on spot XRP ETFs. Canary, CoinShares, Franklin, 21 Shares, WisdomTree, and Bitwise so far. Highly notable to see them cluster like this. A very good sign in Nate Garazzi's opinion, and mine as well, because I think it really kind of signals that they're going to let all these horses out of the gate at once. And then we could see that $8 billion that JP Morgan has predicted flooding in to take a position and lock up all that XRP in custody to back those ETFs once they're approved. And we could be looking at October for that approval. So head on a swivel. And here we see another headline from Nate Garazzi sharing the Wall Street Journal. Peter Thiel leads pack of investors piling into Ether. Well, it is the Wall Street Journal, so he says, what a headline. Proponents see Ethereum becoming the platform of choice for financial world. I do not. AOL was the early winner of the internet. The only thing left of AOL today is people's email address. If Ethereum doesn't solve its problems of high gas fees and a cluttered, bogged down network, ERC20 tokens will be the only remnants of its first mover advantage. Yeah, I wrote it down. Ondo Finance says, look, markets are going global. IBM, PayPal, Visa, right? You name it, Meta, Google, right? Tesla. Everyone's doing it. That's the thing. Markets are going global, ladies and gentlemen. That means 24/7, Amazon 365, Shopify, they're all doing it. Everyone's doing it. And that means digitization, tokenization of a new world. And Ondo is one of those homes to do it. They're getting it done with U.S. Treasuries on the XRP Ledger and BlackRock as we speak. Now, for those of you who don't know, did you know that 27 FedNow service providers have partnerships or connections with Ripple? FedNow and the Faster Payments Council, which is really geared and put together by the Federal Reserve, are bringing banks and institutions into interconnected fast financial systems, and XRP has a seat at the table. I mean, I don't know what else to say. He's absolutely right. But let me get it right here.
Kind of accelerant position. So we'll throw that on screen. He then goes on to say, first, I want to give some context to two organizations that shape guide the FedNow program. The companies below are on one or the other, or both. Both organizations have ties to Ripple. So the US Faster Payments Council, Ripple is an advising board member. This is a very well put together document, by the way. And you can see this is who they've got. So you've got the staff, you've got your board of directors, you've got your advisors, and of course, absolutely telling the truth, you've got James Selick here. So there's clear links here. And he, of course, is sat alongside, your BNY Mellons, your Wells Fargos, so on and so forth, in regards to being a member of this council. It's Faster Payments Improvement Organization. If we go down and we look at the table of contents, you can see on page 9 we have the proposals. And here we do indeed have Ripple. Leverage distributed financial technology to enable real-time cross-border payments for financial institutions that join their network. Use Interledger to enable real-time cross-border payments and interoperability between systems, allowing for originators to see total costs of payments and real-time tracking for low fees.
There you have it. We're in there. We're in there, and we're feeding 27 of the 27 FedNow service providers. Again, it's an infrastructure play, and so is this. Ripple announcing yesterday or the day before, 300 billion stablecoin market is set to grow into the trillions, as they also announced that together with SBI, they're bringing RLUSD to Japan in early 2026, offering users and institutions a trusted, regulated, and fully backed stablecoin built for enterprise use cases, not retail, enterprise use cases. Vet asked the rightful question here. I wonder if Ripple will allow partners like SBI in the future to mint RLUSD themselves. Currently, the pipeline is like this: Ripple RLUSD issuer, RLUSD distribution accounts, customers, and partners. Well, Luke Judges comes in response to Vet and says, where did you get this info? This Luke Judges, by the way, is global partnerships at RippleX, founded Stake City, and Cynics XYZ. And he says here, where did you get this info? Any commercial entity that meets regulatory requirements can sign up for mint and burn access directly. It's just a case of resource prioritization, and there's a wait list, he says. SBI would be pretty high priority, laugh out loud. Vet comes back and says there's only one issuer account on the XRP ledger, so the issuer is either shared or you direct the issuer off chain to mint real USD for you. Circle has it on chain, and their consortium can mint USD whenever they want without off chain interaction. Well, and this goes further with Luke Judges coming back in and says, interesting, not something I'd look into deeply regards deployer wallets and differences versus Circle. FYI, the commercial entity just interacts with a self-service UI user interface and pay fiat, get real USD back as far as I know. See no reason to change operating process, especially if approved by the NYDFS. So there you have it. The conversation continues, but there it is. You're about to see the ability of all the countries that are, let's just say, G20 nations, like Japan, have the ability to mint real USD for their own operations in their own region. And Japan is a ticking time bomb of global finance. 260% debt to GDP ratio, highest in the world. 10 trillion JGB market propped up by the endless Bank of Japan printing. Population shrinking by 500,000 plus every year, dependent on imports for 90% of its energy. Now Ripple and SBI drop real USD into the mix, a sovereign grade stablecoin entering the world's most fragile economy. Isn't coincidence, it's strategy. This, to me, is absolutely spot on. It goes what I've talked about, which is the Plaza Accords. Back in 1985, we were in a similar moment when Japan, Germany, UK, and France were in trouble because the US dollar needed to be devalued because it was crushing their money and their economy. So the devaluation came in when they met at the Plaza Accord, and then that's how it got its name, right? And they devalued the dollar to take the stress off these other countries. So we are dealing with a strong dollar, and then we're dealing with the impact of that on the countries. And now you're going to see, I think, Mar-a-Lago Accords eventually take place, because we're going to see something happen. And you hear people talk about the reverse carry trade in Japan, where people can borrow money for zero interest and go invest that money in a different market for a small margin of profit. But if Japan slips on that zero interest and then it turns into 1%, 2% or what have you, then it's going to crush everybody in their current positions, and it will cause them to reverse those trades, which is known as a reverse carry trade. And when they have to unwind those positions because they're now getting crushed because Japan's rate comes up to 1, 2, or whatever, then you're talking about it being a real problem for them, because then they got to get out of that position, and that causes a systemic collapse potentially, right? That's what you're really talking about here. So that's why Japan is all eyes on Japan. And in the interim, while we're all eyes on Japan, I know a lot of you got all eyes on the XRP chart. And when you're looking at this, we discussed a bull flag scenario, says Dark Defender, on the 20th of November, 2024, and expected XRP to appreciate from $1.13 to $2.40, and that was green lighted and got the check. He said XRP is now getting ready to perform a similar bull flag scenario to travel from $3 to $4.39 and then $5.85 shortly thereafter. Supports can be found at $3 and $2.85. Enjoy your weekend. You too, Dark Defender. And Egg Rag Crypto says, just to put it straight, 273 is macro support, and we need to clear $3.30 on the close of this month in August to remain extremely bullish for where we're going. That's it right there, ladies and gentlemen. I like the way it's lining up, and Congress is about to come back from recess and get these bills passed. We need them. We're going into the freedom zone, and I hope you will join us. You're going to love what we have for you today. Well, the World Economic Forum is at it again, and you're not going to like any of it. They're talking about creating a complete totalitarian system, and it's disgusting. But you need to know what they're doing, because you don't want to be walking around in this world and not know what the hell they're working on. Then we're going to talk about and show you a piece of just how dysfunctional and corrupt our our government is, and how they pass legislation. This is going to make you sick, but you know what? Again, these are all things we need to be made aware of. And if we're in a moment where this young country is now having its renaissance, I think it's time we all start ripping off the scabs and take a look at all the things, good and bad, that are in front of us. And we're getting started right now. Again, not financial advice from me or anyone else. I hope you will join us. Click the link underneath any video. Join us in Patreon, YouTube, or X for all the same price, all the same perks, and you get all my daily videos, 0 Google ads, worth the price of admission, and extra content like we're going to tackle right now. I will see you inside. Come on in.